I begin to.
80s.
Well,
So around eight, you said you auditioned for the Philadelphia record. Is it International Record Company or what was it?
Philadelphia International Records, you have it.
Yeah, was it around? Was it the mid 80s or so that you guys did that?
Yeah, early 80s, close to the mid, but early mid 82,
Mid.
83. And then the record came out maybe, we worked it like 84, 83, 84. Kind of almost like our same pattern a decade later.
Yeah, but then how old were you guys then when you signed?
Oh man, I'm gonna tell my age now. I mean, no,
No. How most of us can't do math.
Oh God, okay. No, we were young though. We were really young. We weren't even. I wasn't even into my teens really yet. You know what I mean? So, and my brother was just getting into his teens. So, yeah. So we were basically kind of young, and we did Soul Train, like I said, on TV. We had some #1 spots like in Houston. With the song we had Styling and Profiling. It got some pretty good, chart positions and radio spots, man. So we did pretty good. We got a good taste of being, people liking our stuff. So
Were
we
you,
appreciate.
but were you around the age of New Edition? Because they came out in that mid 80s. Were you that kind of age?
Me, I think they were a little older than me. They might be more my brother's age, or a few years older. You know what I mean? But I think they were a little older than all of New Edition. I don't think it's my age. Because when I was like 11 or 12, them dudes was already in their teens,
Okay,
They
so
were kind of what.
so they signed you guys as
That old, but
yeah.
I just remember really young listening to them like 11 and crap and 10 and you know what I mean? Not really, what age do you come like that age of understanding? Like after about 6 or 7, you start to get hip to what's really going on. 6, 7, 8. I only had like a few years and they were out kicking ass with Candy Girl.
Yeah.
Kenny Girl kicks ass.
Yeah,
I love that song.
So they signed you guys as like as a brother, two brothers, but as kids and stuff.
Yeah. You had to get a legal guardian and the whole.
Okay.
The whole.
So the album comes out. It does this thing. What happens next after the album?
We start working it. You got to work that album. So we start traveling, doing a tour. So it was a merger with Capital EMI, Manhattan Records, and Philadelphia International. So it was a merger. We had Bernard Wright was signed there. Remember that? Who Do You Love? Are You For Sure?
Mm-hmm.
Big Gavin Christopher.
Wow.
He was out on there. Shirley, couple throwbacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jones from the Jones Girl had a solo project. The OJs even had something new. So we were just a little young whippersnappers, but we got a chance to. Well, let me go back just a step. We had a chance to work with some great people on that album. Larry Davis from the group Instant Funk. Bunny Sigler, who was a solo artist. He just passed not too long ago, a few years ago. But Bunny Sigler wrote our first single. Bunny Sigler did Let the Good Times Roll. Come on, baby, let the good times roll. Like Bunny's been making hits since then. Songs for Patti LaBelle, a lot of stuff. So Bunny was always a special dude in the Philly scene, Reggie Griffin, who was from Either he was from Minnesota. I keep forgetting where he exactly from, but he's not from, or New York maybe. But I gotta check Reggie's background again. But Reggie Griffin was a genius. He did The Message, Grandmaster Flash, Scorpio. Wow. He did a bunch of stuff for that whole clique. And then we had the guy that mixed it, Shamik the mix it. So it was a crew from up New York that we got with on the album too. Reggie produced Babyface, The Deal, and he used to produce them. Reggie, I don't know where Reggie, he was born the same day as my mother. I haven't spoken to Reggie in so long, but he's one of those quiet, unsung heroes who play every instrument you want to throw at him. Trumpets, guitars, bass. It's amazing to be around. And so we wrote on the album, of course, and had a chance to do some things on that album. So we had to work it. Like I said, we guys like Mike Austin and Virgil Thompson, Virgil Thomas on the road, worked our record to '1 on the radio and things like that. Styling Houston, Styling was #1 on the radio. So if somebody was around in the '80s in Houston, they know that song, you know. And in Dallas, it got pretty good over there too. And then in the LA, and I mean, you know, it worked around, but Texas really gravitated towards it. But we worked it, went on Soul Train. You know, somebody's got I'm trying to find that one because we had Tuxedo on with the tail. And you don't want to hear something really interesting, brother. Rest in peace to Don Cornelius, man. You know, greatest platform ever for Black music.
Yeah.
And beyond Black music. You know, Soul Train was definitely the hippest trip. But the day we did Soul Train was in the '80s. You know, you sit there, you don't know if you're really going on. I know when some people do a show, they like, oh man, I know I'm going on first. I know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you go on when Don say you going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were in the waiting room, and Don Cornelius comes in, sees my mother. She's in a pretty floral dress, and we're sitting there with tuxedos on. She's like, well, who are you? Like, who are y'all? Like, and she's like, well, you know, we're the Whiteheads. We from. He's like, huh, oh, y'all made your bones on this show. You know, we did the theme for Soul Train. TSOP did the theme at one point. Teddy Pendergrass blew up from Soul Train when he did I Miss You. You know, when he did the end of it. Oh, you know, miss you, miss. He went nuts though. He went nuts on Soul Train. And so Don is like Philly too. Like, you know, he ain't from Philly, but he's like, we grew up on his show, the whole Philly sound. So he was like, well, we would try. He didn't really know what we could do. But he put us on and we did our thing. We did styling. We did I Jumped Out My Skin. We did styling. We did 2 songs. So we came back to interview us. Don was just coming out of the hospital for brain surgery.
Wow. And
that was his first day back. So everyone there were walking on pins and needles. You know, it was like, shh, Don's, don't say anything. Like, Don's back. You know what I mean? Don't make a peep. So he came in and spoke to my mother. And then, you know, because we were like, we knew about it too. So we were being cool. But he came and engaged us. And then, boom, told us we were going on. We went on with Orange Juice Jones.
Oh, my goodness.
Rain.
In the rain.
Yeah, Rain. Yeah, I was shout out to Orange Juice Jones. That's what I'm at too. We were on the show with him the first time. And we did our thing. So when Don did our interview, you know, he said, so has anybody ever compared y'all to New Edition? You know,
I did.
He had a little bubblegummy sounding song that Reggie Griffin, the genius of, done, like I said, The Message, Grandmaster Flash, I Feel For You, Shaka Khan, or he might have even did keyboard work on Ain't Nobody Love. I don't know where Reggie's, but Reggie did our little bubblegum New Edition thing, and it did sound candy girlish. You know what I mean? You had to go through. But I was like, nah, because we're all like young artists in the business and this and that. You know what I mean? I didn't really like, you know, say yeah, but like I was like, we're all young. And then Don was like, well, I heard y'all could rap. We said, what? Because, you know, we rap too, you know, so anytime I heard y'all could rap. So we said, well, he said, go ahead, y'all can't rap. I said, what? He said, you know, me and my brother bust out to all get fly girls with a Whitehead Brothers, Studios K, MCJ, sneaking under your covers, WHITTHEAD, kicking it live for the ladies to see. We're not Batman and Robin or Cheech and Chong, but we knock the ladies out just singing the song. We spit. And right around in that very moment, Don, from his operation, brain aneurysm operation, stomped back so loud and hard on that stage with a dance that he just stomped like boom, 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 and he was moving back as he stomped. If I could get that on TV, like, and people were, and they went off, because Don. It's a big thing about Don dancing, right, on that show.
Yeah.
He only line dance like one time.
Hmm.
And everybody's like, Don don't dance, Don doesn't dance, or Don don't dance no more. But Don was back from that brain operation and bust a move on stage with us. I was like, listen, I know people have sold a zillion records, but I'm going to put myself and my brother down for the most fun interview on Soul Train with Don Cornelius, because that was special, to have him break out that type of energy when he was just walking around, like, recovering.
Yeah. I mean, with his big baritone voice, were you guys not intimidated?
Don was big too, man.
Yeah. Were you not intimidated by him talking and his voice? Because he just sounds like like an earthquake or so when he talks. Yeah, can you come in? Yes. Oh, how was?
And he's so smooth. It's like it seems like taking a piss, like he's jumping on your shit, like a little bit, like, so y'all rap, y'all really rap. But Don was so smooth. And the other two times we were on Soul Train, he wasn't there. They had other hosts, but we got a chance to. I mean, if you was gonna say, no offense to Arsenio Hall, but if you was gonna tell me, would you rather had a call Arsenio Hall or Soul Train with Don on it? I got
but we do. I look back and seeing, I think Soul Train was in a class of its own. It's what it did for rhythm and blues, soul music. But then Arsenio did another thing and a different, not Soul Train level, but he did something, night audience and stuff there, and in a different way. But to actually be on Soul Train is not an easy thing. We all watch Soul Train, so you actually are on it once, twice, three times. So that's a big thing. What did your dad think when did he ever see you guys on Soul Train? What did he think?
Man, he loved it. Our dad was always he was always a big supporter of us, man. He thought, like, he and my mom, I like I said, it wasn't like no training thing and this and that. Now, my dad bought me a guitar when I was about 6, and I was playing rubbish on that thing. Pop the strings. It was, listen, there's no way in the world, man. I know they used to call me down to the living room to play out when I had an amplifier and all that jazz. Play the guitar. They must have really loved me. I'm telling you. I was playing like stir-fried crap. But it wasn't until about like my stepfather, when I met my stepfather around like 7. My mom never remarried, but my stepfather was just with us for but but he played guitar. He didn't teach me either, but he could show me things or give me some tips and tricks. Like, I didn't have to take a class with him, but he showed me my first chord, a major chord, and yeah, I'll play for you right now.
Okay.
So it's our first chord. It's probably out of tune. Hold on, let me see. And this guitar was from a friend of mine by the name of Charlize Rookwood. It was dedicated to a special friend. All right, so wait. So that's the major chord. So like a happy chord, right? It's a little out of tune. And I got my pick stuck in here. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So if you can see that chord.
Yeah, I can see, yeah.
So we're going down the scale. Like, you're putting 2 fingers, you know what I mean? Do you play an instrument?
And no, my kids do, but no, not me.
Yeah, well, you don't have to. And you know what? Because it's just as important. When you're talking about growing up in a family household of musicians, I also grew up in a family of music appreciators. Appreciators of music. We loved other people's music. We weren't just in there trying to just make our own music. We love music just like your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
must have because
Yeah.
you're the way you're connecting what you're doing. But anyway, I got more serious about playing when I was about 11. Yeah, about like 12, 11, 12, 13. And I discovered Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
In his journey to England.
Yeah, yeah.
And all that stuff.
Yeah.
And behind the neck, fretting and all that good stuff. And also the greats on the guitar, Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton, Yngwie Malmsteen, John McLaughlin and the Mahavishnu Orchestra, Al Di Meola. Damn, there's so many people. And of course, my style is basically Jimi Hendrix and George Benson put together.
Wow, okay. So you actually started to perfect your guitar playing.
Try. I worked on it when I could. You know what I mean? And I would fall asleep. I would fall asleep on the John, on the toilet, not with the toilet open, of course, but sitting on the seat part of, with my little tape recorder, trying to practice Jimi Hendrix licks. And then a few other people opened up my perspective about playing. You know what I mean? Like I say, Yngwie Malmsteen, who plays a classic rock shredder thing, classic scales, but they're just shredded like, Eddie Van Halen or somebody, or you know what I mean? So Eddie Van Halen, of course, always inspiration. So that helped me a lot. But then it was always R&B. You know what I mean? There was always R&B because my guitar upbringing was really blues.
Okay.
Right? You know what I mean? Really, it's so out of tune, but it's so much what.
Some BB King there.
And speaking of which, man, I just got in touch with his great grandson Charles King, and we're on the Clubhouse app, man. He's a business guy. He's making deals in Africa and doing sorts of things. So, yeah, man, he's keeping that legacy alive with his with the late King, man. So that was that. But of course, that doesn't sound like nothing that I came out with, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then, here you are, you're picking up a guitar, you and your brother, you're singing, you get to be on Soul Train. Did your label, were they looking at the sales of the album and thinking, okay, we need to get them back in the studio, and release another album? Or what was the thinking about how the first album did?
Well, we did. Well, the regime changed. It went from Gerald Busby, Steve McKeever,
and Gerald Busby was it before he went to MCA?
He signed us along with Steve McKeever and Daryl Jones. So that was who's, and then about late 96, 97. Motown switched to New York with the Uptown crew, who you mentioned, Andre Harrell, Jimmy Jenkins, Andrew, Sugar Dice, man, and publishing James Jackson, all that whole crew, Big Bub, everyone got. So I was able to go through the school of Uptown through Motown and make some records with them.
In what way? So, because I don't want to skip anything. So, what happened? So, after you and your brothers came out with your first album, what exactly did you guys do next?
So, first album we toured, like I said, first 80s. Like I said, we toured, we worked. But that was kind of the end of that chapter. Soul Train, this and that, kind of. Yeah. We worked it till we couldn't. We traveled till it kind of, went down the charts a bit, and we just kind of, still doing shows here and there, and still cutting in the studio too. You know what I mean?
You know.
I begin to